Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome to Healthy Living. You're watching live right here on SRN Live Television. I am your host, Kathy B, and of course, Dr. Julissa Hernandez is here in the studio with us. We want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. We have a dynamic show for you, as well as a letter that has come in to the station, and we want to continue to talk about our kidneys. As you know, last week we had the opportunity to read a letter on the station live, and Dr. Julissa gave us some great information about the kidney. So tonight is part 2, and if you haven't had the opportunity to view the show from last week, please do, because there's information there that Dr. Julissa shared that I know that each and every one of you would love to know and hear and pass on. So tonight's show is all about understanding our kidneys once more, and also speaking on this letter and getting some more information in regards to that. So again, welcome to Healthy Living right here on SRN Live Television. I do believe that Dr. Julissa is here in the studio with us. Dr. Julissa, hello, and welcome to Healthy Living. How are you this evening?
I'm feeling wonderful, dear. Thank you so much for having me once again. Hello, SRN Live family.
Awesome. Well, as you know, Dr. Julissa, the show is growing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you will, introduce yourself to all the brand new family members that are watching with us this evening, and we'll jump into our conversation from there.
Thank you once again. Hello, SRN Live television family. I am Dr. Julissa Hernandez, board-certified naturopathic doctor, practicing now for over 23 years. I'm an international teacher of natural medicine, a teacher of natural medicine, television, radio personality, public figure, and honored to be a part of your health journeys here on SRN Live Television with Kathy B. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Julissa. Well, we have another letter tonight. I'm so excited because we're getting more information in. Everyone is pretty much tuned in and want to talk about what they've experienced, or maybe a family member that has experienced. And this particular letter is a letter from one of our Source Nation family members. And I will go ahead and read, and we'll talk about it after that. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Okay.
Okay. It reads, I am a 75-year-old man with a pacemaker. I recently visited my doctor and found out that the battery from my pacemaker stopped working due to the battery going dead. They replaced it with a newer model. While speaking with the doctor, he informed me that I needed to start preparing myself because I would need dialysis soon. My question is there any way I can reverse this diagnosis? Years ago, I experienced kidney failure and was put on water pills and was told that this would deter it for a while. Now, what options do I have? P.S. I take high blood pressure meds and diuretics. What are your thoughts?
Again, I'll share that everything in the body is interconnected.
Okay.
And if he is on high blood pressure medication, it's important for us to understand in naturopathic medicine, we learn that there is no such thing as high blood pressure, only weak kidneys.
Okay.
So that's one thing to take into account. He began to have the imbalances of the kidneys, and then the high blood pressure challenge began. Last week, I discussed with all of you how there is an emotional root cause very much related to kidney health, and that is fear and unresolved forgiveness. Chinese medicine teaches us it is fear, deep-rooted fear, that turns on kidney challenges, and then holistic medicine teaches us that in correlation to that, it is unresolved forgiveness and not being able to forgive and let go in that sense. That also weakens the kidneys. So I would say first, since we're working here, is trying to prevent, obviously, that he is going to need dialysis in the first place. The kidneys are already weakened if he is on high blood pressure medication. That is given. So let's start to strengthen, shall we? First, obviously, looking within to be sure that he can find where that emotional root cause began. I would say let's go back to the first time that he was ever told that he had high blood pressure, Kathy. And then to look back, right? Look back 3 to 6 months prior to that diagnosis to try to find where is it that he feels that in his realm, in his world, he was holding on to fear challenges with regards to either male or females in his life,
Mm-hmm.
and or had some unresolved forgiveness challenges with regards to male or female. So we would begin there. Now, secondly, as far as strengthening those organs, um, that's the way that he is going to prevent needing dialysis. I will share with all of you once again an article that I wrote regarding kidney health, where you actually see the testimony of a patient
Mm-hmm.
that I treated who was on dialysis and told that she needed to be put on a list for a kidney transplant. And after only 4 months of working together, her doctor said that she was absolutely fine and no longer needed a kidney and no longer needed dialysis as well. So that's just one of many in over 23 years of practice, a true blessing. And how to prevent is his question. Let's nourish, build, and strengthen those organs.
Okay.
What Chinese medicine teaches us is that those types of herbs and roots and foods that actually taste and have a natural salty taste to them are the ones that actually build and strengthen the kidney. Now, how did the Chinese know what herbs would help what? They would taste them and try them and feel whatever sensation they felt once they ingested them. So, for example, the salty herbs, they noticed, or salty foods also, not potato chips, of course, that's not what I mean. I mean something like, for example, celery or parsley, right? Natural forms of herbs, roots, and foods. And these things stimulated the kidneys and caused them to have urination. Bitter herbs were, for example, helped the body to produce more bile, and they were able to filter fats better. So that's how they knew what herbs would help what. So
Okay.
having said that, I would love for him to incorporate things such as hydrangea, such as parsley, such as things like corn silk, horsetail. As far as foods, things like watercress, all of these things, he should really have a severe focus on wanting to feed the kidneys with what Mother Earth has provided for us to do so.
Mm. Great explanation in reference to that. And I truly uh, believe in incorporating uh, the natural substances such as vegetables and the things that we need to do to build up our kidneys. So I want to transition over to some of the things that he mentioned here in
Mhm,
the letter. He
mhm.
basically stated, how can he reverse this particular diagnosis, especially if the doctor has stated that he may need to go on dialysis, the fact that he has already experienced kidney failure.
Mhm.
Is there a reverse? Can you reverse that?
Absolutely. All we need to do is feed the body what it is missing so that it can heal itself. I've
Mhm.
proved that time and time again. And that is what a realm, like, for example, Chinese medicine, which is over 5,000 years old. So has proven itself as well to be able to do so. Feeding the body what it needs so that it can heal itself can do so.
Mhm.
Now, I would say again, he needs to look back to help me with the emotional root cause of what actually turns on the kidneys to have challenges in the first place. Let's look back to when he first had that kidney failure challenge. Let's look back a year or 2 years prior to that. What was building up in his life? What was building up in his world that made him feel that he was holding on to fear, that made him feel that he was holding on to unresolved forgiveness towards someone or some people in
Yes.
his life. I'm very curious to know which kidney it was. If it was both kidneys that were failing, then I would say it was male and female figures. What holistic medicine teaches us is that the left side of the body tends to be the feminine aspect and
Mhm.
deals with female figures in our lives, emotional, love, and family relationships. And that the right side of the body deals with the masculine aspect and
Mhm.
male figures in our lives and financial matters, business relationships, educational matters, career matters, and work issues. So I'm very curious to know if it was one kidney or both.
Hmm. Wow. You talked about the male figure being on the left side of the body and the female figure being on the right side. It's so interesting to me. I know that you and I have had conversations like this, but talk to Source Nation, if you will, Dr. Julissa. Give them some more information. Source Nation, when I tell you that this blew my mind on something that was going on with me about a year ago that Dr. Julissa has assisted me with. It's fascinating. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because I know someone is watching right now and is like, what is she talking about? A male figure, a female figure? So can you just elaborate a little bit more about that and give us a true understanding through Chinese medicine why this is?
Okay. Well, what holistic medicine actually teaches us is that there's a reason why something happens on one side of the body and not the other, or
Okay.
why the right kidney or why the left kidney. I'm curious to know which was the kidney that had kidney failure in our listener there. Or maybe it was both. Now, what holistic medicine teaches us is that the right side of the body is the masculine aspect, and it deals with male figures in our life and financial matters, business relationships, educational matters, career matters, and work issues. The left side of the body, on the other hand, deals with the feminine aspect and things related to emotional love and family relationships. So if, for example, his kidney failure was of the right kidney, and I've
Mm-hmm.
already shared with you all how the emotion that Chinese medicine teaches us is fear, and that holistic medicine teaches us is unresolved forgiveness that affect the kidneys. If it was the right kidney that he had challenges with, then I have a hunch that he had some unresolved forgiveness issues with regards to a male figure or some male figures in his life. It
Okay.
can be that specific, and we can pinpoint it to that degree. I mean, I have over 23 years of practice. It's a rarity, sadly enough, that in bringing out a lot of this information with my patients, when I'm listening to the story and hearing with them, what I find that the tears don't start to come
Mm-hmm.
with bringing up things that they never thought that I would even discuss with them. If, for example, it was his left kidney that he was having challenges with, the left kidney that showed kidney failure, then I have a hunch that maybe he was dealing with some unresolved forgiveness issues with regards to a female figure and things regarding emotional love and family relationships, fear even with regards to a female figure or female figures and emotional love and family relationships. So we can pinpoint it to that degree to where I again repeat, I need his help with the emotional part so we can find where that emotional root cause began. We can overcome that. And I say, leave your body to me. That's my job. It's my duty to find out what we need to do and feed that body and those organs, those body systems, so that it can heal itself.
Just listening to you and getting a better understanding how we as individuals, how we deal with certain things, how we deal with the emotions and how it will affect us. I mean, to the point of, your kidneys and your lungs that we've talked about in the past, our lungs and your pancreas, all of this is in direct correlation to just that alone, just overall emotions. I mean, fascinating to me that it could result into something like that. Now, as you know, I always like to talk about this. Being that, he has a pacemaker, and he said that he had kidney failure. He also spoke about reversing the diagnosis. He also mentioned that he has blood pressure medicine and diuretics that he's taking. With all of that, what are some of the things that he can do now for his diet and exercise and becoming healthier?
Mm-hmm. A wonderful question. I must first say that he does not have to discontinue the medication that he's using, if he's going to bring in the natural supplementations that I've recommended here, the natural herbs that I've recommended, these are food, you know, so it's not going to clash with anything chemical that he is taking.
Okay.
If his current doctor is a conscious doctor and is able to then monitor and notice that his body is starting to regulate the blood pressure on its own, he's not having challenges as it, for example, shows now in blood work and tests, that he is having weakness of the kidneys, and they're able to see that he is bettering, okay, that he is getting better, then that conscious doctor will help him to start weaning slowly off of the medications he's on. He is not doomed to have to take the high blood pressure medication and the diuretics for the rest of his life. If he is strengthening and nourishing the kidneys, I've taken people off high blood pressure medication and hydrochlorothiazide, which is the most common, HCTZ, the most common diuretic that's given, along with high blood pressure medication. So yes, he should be able to strengthen to the point that he'll be able to start slowly weaning off, or at least decreasing the milligrams and the amount of medications. I've mentioned also before how truly important it is for him to incorporate water in his diet, or better yet, I mentioned that in our last show last week, how very crucial it is for people to really intake water. Juice is not the same. And so that is something that is necessary. One aspect that I do want to share with our listener, if they're saying he's going to have kidney challenges, which I feel is a horrible thing,
Right.
to tell people that they're going to be doomed to have a certain challenge, I say, let's help him notice what could possibly be the signs that the kidneys are already showing weakness, and that he should jump on it immediately. Obviously now, if he's sending this email, it's because he wants to take care of this, but some indications that could be letting him know that yes, the kidneys are showing challenges. So for those of you out there listening, if you have a constant dull ache in the lower back that just constantly comes about without truly causing any sort of strenuous activity, that nothing has actually been done physically for you to trigger that sort of dull back pain, lower back pain, then consider that the kidneys most likely need some support.
Okay.
Usually when there are challenges like that, or there's obstruction of the urinary tract and so on, the pain tends to radiate through the body. It's very excruciating and debilitating after a while. It may start as a dull ache, but then you start showing these sorts of challenges to where it's debilitating. It maybe impedes the way you're walking. And then there's a constant urgency to urinate, and then extremely painful urination. A lot of men then try to say that that's immediately probably the prostate, but it could be more than anything kidneys related, right? So these are some of the signs I want him to look for to know, oh my gosh, they're already really very weakened, or great, thank God I'm not really feeling those things now. Let me now begin to take care of that.
Good information. Good information. We've been speaking with Dr. Julissa tonight in reference to a letter that has come into the station regarding kidneys. And of course, last week we spoke about the kidneys as well. As we are closing out, Dr. Julissa, we've talked about many things. Most importantly, we talked about the emotion. What is it that they were possibly going through prior to being diagnosed? Not only that, being diagnosed, these are some of the things that you can implement in order to continue to live your best healthy life. Let's talk a little bit more, because I'm very interested also in the fact that these are conventional medicines that the doctors are putting the patients on, and the fact that really, if you're wanting to incorporate something holistic, there is a chance that you may be able to wean yourself from some of this. I can tell you, and not to take away from what we're discussing tonight, but I am a firm believer that you can heal yourself in a holistic way. I am choosing to not take a lot of prescription medication if I don't have to. And I'm more leaning it on the fact of not having to take the medication and doing something holistic about it. So when you have an individual that is that adamant
Mm-hmm.
about not using conventional medicine, going holistic, talk to us about the transition from the fact that they, if they were taking the medicine or if they chose not to take the medicine and just doing it holistic. Talk to us about that particular lifestyle for that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, they can be comforted in knowing that there is a way to have our bodies not be so dependent on a chemical agent to function normally. Continuously taking conventional drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, will make the body very dependent.
Okay.
So bringing in supplementation, herbs and roots, these are food. All you're doing is feeding your body what it is missing so that it can heal itself. So bringing that in is not really a transition that is per se so difficult for them to incorporate. Just to know that all that's going to do is make you feel better, and
Okay.
that there aren't side effects compared to, for example, the medications that he's on now. The high blood pressure medication that he's on, I don't know the name of it, but just to run through some names that of the most common ones that maybe some of you out there are utilizing: Diovan, atenolol, Norvasc, and so on. These have very, detrimental side effects. For one, it tends to really destroy sex drive. So I don't know if our listener there has a mate, but it really does weaken sex drive in men and women. It will overload the liver with time when you're taking these sort of pharmaceutical drugs, the liver being the chemical plant of the body. So all of this overloading, the transition is not difficult, knowing that you're bringing in now herbal supplementation that are food, that are helping the body so that it's not so dependent on the chemical. And then again, your conventional doctor will show you how you can start to wean. What I can tell you is this: if our listener at the moment has normal blood pressure, for those of you that don't know what normal blood pressure range is, 120 over 80, systolic over the diastolic. And if his blood pressure is 120 over 80 or lower now with the medications that he's taking, when he brings in supplementation, he'll be able to start to wean slowly from the very beginning. If it's already normalized now, then let's just feed the body now so that it's not so dependent, and he can do so. He should talk to his doctor about that, start telling them, okay, my blood pressure is good now, I want to start taking less. And you can do with your body what you want.
Right.
Please don't feel that you're against, a rock and a hard place and you have to do anything. So no, we don't have to be doomed to take medication forever in most cases. And taking supplementation will just feel like a wonderful addition to his everyday diet that won't clash with his meds.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
As we are closing out tonight, I always like to leave either with some encouraging word or maybe some tips and advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation. If you wish to do that, you're welcome to do so at this time.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Now, I would say that our listener needs to also take into account looking at a lot of the numbers that come about when he has his blood work done and his results done.
Mm-hmm.
Know that people who tend to have kidney challenges start to show certain types of deficiencies. So a person with kidney challenges will start to show deficiency of vitamin B,
Mm-hmm.
vitamin Bs, okay, they're B1, B2, B6, B12s, may be low. Magnesium may be a deficiency. Essential fatty acids would be a deficiency. So with that, I want him to incorporate more avocados, for example, and things of that sort that have natural essential fatty acids. All of these are found in kidney disease. These specific deficiencies in B vitamins, deficiencies of magnesium, and deficiency of essential fatty acids, very much in the realm of kidney disease. So he needs to look at that. If he has high levels of aluminum, I would say from the very beginning, my dear listener, if you want to prevent yourself from having to undergo dialysis, stop using any aluminum cookware that you are utilizing to cook your foods. number one as well.
Mhm.
Eliminate that and start using stainless steel pots and pans. Okay. That would also incorporate eating canned foods. The remnants of aluminum are detrimental and very causative of kidney disease.
Wow.
There you have that. Uh, Heavy metal poisoning from cadmium. Ergo, if
Mhm.
our listener here is a cigarette smoker, he is absolutely dooming himself, Kathy, to having kidney disease.
Wow.
Plain and simple. So I don't know his lifestyle, but I have to, throw that out there. And then, of course, lead also. If there's heavy metal poisoning from lead, all of these are found in kidney disease tests. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. Uh, Allergies, low thyroid, hypothyroidism, all of these also play a severe role in kidney disease. And you would say, well, how is that? The thyroid linked to the kidneys and so on? Again, when I talk with all of you on any of these programs, I need you to slightly unlearn what you already know about your bodies and try to look at your bodies through the eyes of, per se, the Chinese, because I do focus very much on Chinese medicine with my approach with patients. And so it is a realm of medicine, over 5,000 years old. And the theory here is that everything in the body, Kathy, is interconnected. We view the body as an umbrella
Mhm.
where everything is connected. And lastly, adrenal stress and overuse of antacids. In last week's show, I mentioned, for example, Tums, that antacid that is very much related to the formation of kidney stones in people. And they found that as one of those side effects. So trying his best to really decrease his stress levels, trying his best to make sure that he's not using antacids and intaking a lot of acidic foods, which cause kidney stone formation, weakening the kidneys further. All of this is something that he should take into account so that he knows he is preventing kidney disease.
Great information. Thank you again, Dr. Julissa, for coming in and speaking to us about this. If you will, please share with Source Nation, how can we get more information about you and continue to support you in your efforts?
Thank you once again for having me, Kathy. Well, everyone, you can find my information at drjulissa.com. That's drjulissa.com. And I so look forward to being here with all of you again next week, Kathy. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Source Nation, you've been watching live right here on SRN Live Television, Healthy Living, with myself as well as Dr. Julissa. Tonight's conversation was all about the kidneys. Once again, I want to thank the gentleman who sent in the letter. We greatly appreciate you sharing your story with us. Again, Dr. Julissa spoke with us about kidneys and how vital this organ is for our bodies. Now, if we choose to neglect becoming more healthier with this particular function for the kidneys, then the one thing that I would say is truly go back and take a listen to what she stated. We talked about various different things. We talked about how you can continue to take your conventional medicine that is prescribed by your physician, but yet you can incorporate a holistic lifestyle with treatment. She also mentioned, incorporating lots of vegetables, green leafy type of vegetables. We talked about exercise in both last week's show and this week's show. Again, Source Nation is about living your best life, living your best healthy life. And this is the way to do it. To this young man, and he is a young man, he's given us his age, 75. You're still young. um, do those necessary things, and I truly believe, yes, you can reverse the diagnosis that the physician has given you just by implementing those healthy steps. Source Nation, you know that Dr. Julissa is here every single Thursday, giving us some great information, but you can also go back and take a look at this show and last week's show and all of the shows that she and I have done together to get that information that you need. She is always there for us and definitely for you. Again, thank you so much for watching Healthy Living right here on SRN Live Television. Be sure to join us again next week for more great information, and we're helping you live your best life healthy through a holistic way. Good night, everyone. Be blessed. We'll see you again next week.
Get at me for beats, y'all.